What up, trainers? Today I have this awesome Pikachu deck for you. I promise it is Pikachu. I swear to you, it's legit 100% Pikachu. We have Pikachu combined with the strength of a Giratina and some other Pokemon here in this deck. It's really good. It's really fun to play. It's tricky. You might think it's not Pikachu, but I promise you, it is Pikachu. Without further ado and without any more confusion, I promise you it's Pikachu. Let's go ahead and look at the deck and see what we're working with. All right, look, it's Pikachu. I swear to you, it is Pikachu. We have two Pikachu in this deck. One Giratina, one Oricorio Psychic. I don't know what form this is. There's two Psychic ones. Crap. And then one Tapu Lele. Okay, so what is this deck up to? Why are there only 5 Pokemon here in this deck? Most of them, all of them are basic Pokemon. What's going on? And there's only one Giratina. I don't know. This deck is crazy. What's going on with Pikachu? Why does he look like that? He's a little funky weird. It's okay. I'll explain it to you. This is Pikachu after all. It's okay. Our two Pikachu. Pikachu's move, Shadow Hit. Is that what it is? Shadow. Pikachu's move does 60 damage for 2 energy cost. However, you have to do 20 damage to one of your Pokemon. You can do it to the active Pokemon, or you can do that to your bench Pokemon. 60 damage. That's pretty good for 2 energy, right? Great. Okay, so why do we have to do damage to one of our Pokemon? Well, it's, that's the drawback of it. However, in this set was released a new card, Acerola, a supporter. I think that's her name. I don't know. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. It's something like that. If I'm wrong, sure, correct me. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong about everything, and then that this isn't a legit 100% legit Pikachu deck. Like it is what it is. Anyway, Acerola, if that's how you pronounce it, will move the damage from your Pikachu onto your opponent's active Pokemon, up to 40 damage. So if you were attacking with your Pikachu, you had to do that damage. You could do that to your active one if you wanted, depending on the situation. You can then, during your turn, at some point, whether it's your next turn, use that new supporter card, Acerola, and move 40 damage to the opponent's active Pokemon. Therefore, you do 40 damage plus Pikachu's regular attack for 60, and you could do a total of 100 damage. Whoa, wow! And no one's playing these cards. It's kind of crazy. 100 damage, and it's a basic, and it's not an EX. It's a really good card. This is a really fun deck to play. That is our main strategy, is we're focused around our Pikachu, clearly, right? We even have Red in here because it's Red's Pikachu, right? I'm staying strong to this bit. I'm not going to falter. This is 100% legit Pikachu deck. Okay? Okay. Our main focus is Pikachu. We then have these other supporting cards like the Oricorio, like the Tapu Lele, and Giratina. Depending on the game situation, you could stack energies on Giratina. We are only running psychic energy here, so you could stack the Giratina with energy if you wanted to, depending on what you're going up against, whether or not you need to do that 130 damage to knock out some Pokemon in one hit, or whether you can manage it with the Pikachu, the Oricorio, Tapu Lele. If you can manage it with those Pokemon are only going to give 1 point away to your opponent if they get knocked out. Giratina EX, that's 2 points, right? So we want to focus around the strategy of the Pikachu, but we then have these supporter cards. So if we start Tapu Lele has an attack where you can single out a target, whether it's active or benched Pokemon. Whatever Pokemon has energy on it, it will do 20 damage per energy on that Pokemon. So if they are building up a Giratina on their bench, or if they're building up Charizard or something that's on their bench, you can pull out this Tapu Lele and do X amount of damage to that Pokemon. It can be pretty significant. So you could play that Tapu Lele while then maybe stacking up the Giratina for the final hit. We also have X speeds, and Dawn. This allows us to be able to move our Pokemon in and out. Tapu Lele, Pikachu, or Oricorio all have one retreat cost. Being able to save that single energy, because we're playing with those Pokemon mostly, being able to save that single energy and only using that X speed, it's an item, we can then still play Dawn, our supporter, if we needed to move that energy to our Giratina and make that sort of move there. It's great. There's a lot of different options here in this deck. Who to fight with, who to play, like there's so many different options. It allows for the player of this deck to be creative, which I feel like is really fun because there's more situations that you can play around in this deck. But also it is more difficult to play this deck because you have to manage the HP of your Pokemon. This deck is way more difficult to play. You have to also understand what your opponent might be playing when it comes to this, because if they have a Cyrus in their hand, this is definitely dangerous. If you used your Pikachu, if you had used your Pikachu's attack and put damage onto the Giratina, then they could Cyrus out that Giratina and one-shot it. So you have to definitely be careful when it comes to that. We do have the Oricorio in our deck. If one of our Pokemon were to get knocked out, Oricorio only uses one energy, and if the Pokemon got knocked out, it's going to do 20 plus 60 for a total of 80 damage onto the opponent's Pokemon, but that's only going to be for one turn. So it's basically like a Marshadow, just hits 20 damage less. But we do have reds here in this deck to be able to make up for it. There is a significant amount of damage that can come through with this deck because people don't really understand. No one's really playing the Pikachu Acerola combo at the moment. At least I have not run into anyone with the countless amount of games that I've played. I have not run into anyone who is playing this combination of a deck at the moment. And I mean specifically the Pikachu, the Acerola combo. I haven't seen anyone running that. So it's really fun. In all honesty, like I've had a blast playing this. There's so many different ways to play. So we really do want to play around the Pikachu. There is the possibility of some situations where we go first and we have Pikachu in the active spot and Giratina on the bench. We can use Giratina's passive to put an energy on first turn. And then our next turn, we can put an energy onto Pikachu, and then we can Dawn that energy from Giratina and then hit for 60, like surprise damage on our second turn. And people just do not, your opponents don't know what is going on with this deck, in all honesty. Like they're just like, what is happening? I swear everyone just comes to a standstill when it comes to this deck. They're really confused about what cards I have in the deck, what might be coming next. They don't know, but it really is pretty simple. We play around the Pikachu, the ability to move that damage from the Pikachu to the opponent's Pokemon is phenomenal. It's really strong. A surprise 100 damage with 2 energy cost, it's really significant, and your opponents do not expect that sort of damage coming through. But then again, we also do have this Giratina if ever we need to just stack the energies onto that because our opponents might be too healthy, too strong, or if they're playing like Lily and you just, because they, rare candy and then stage 2 comes out immediately, you might just have to go to the Giratina to potentially just one-shot the opponent. We do have the red in here because red is super strong when it comes to taking down these EX Pokemon. There are times where you could just start Giratina, and because we're running Psychic Energy, you can build up this Giratina super fast. With like 2 to 3 turns, you've got Giratina ready to attack. It's absolutely insane when it comes to that. We have the Giant Cape here. 2 of them. We have 2 Giant Capes in this deck. One you can put on Giratina if you need to have that extra damage, especially when your Giratina has to attack and you don't want it to be in threat range of getting one shot. You can put the cape onto the Giratina, or you can put the cape onto your Pikachu, which then allows the Pikachu to stay a little bit more healthy, not quite in range of getting knocked out, but still has the ability to be able to wait that turn that you might need to play that Acerola card to move that energy onto the opponent and just boom, 100 damage out of nowhere and actually just knock out your opponent. It's crazy. It's crazy. And then also, you know, Tapu Lele's here to be able to snipe your opponent's bench Pokemon. It's probably gonna be the bench Pokemon most of the time. We've got one Cyrus when it comes to that, where if we do need to hit specifically a Pokemon that's on the bench that we might have hit with the Tapu Lele, we've got the one Cyrus in here. I opt for Cyrus over Sabrina because of the Tapu Lele, and because we are not specifically running cards that will one-shot, your opponent might at times have to retreat their Pokemon back onto the bench, and they might not be full HP, so we can have the Cyrus here. We want to go for consistency. That's why I've got 2 of most of our trainer cards, 2 of mostly every card. We have the 2 Dawn, 2 Red, and 2 Acerolas. I just am opting for consistency here when it comes to this deck. We'll start with 1 Pokemon. 2 Pokeballs is going to get us at least another at least another Pikachu or Giratina. We really do want to have Giratina out on our bench, preferably towards the start of the game, if not our first turn, because just being able to use its ability even once during the game at the start will allow us to just have that extra energy to be able to use when it comes to maybe a time where we need to play it with Dawn and move that energy to the Pikachu or vice versa, whatever it is. There's definitely a lot of options here, even though it looks really simple. There's a lot of different ways to play around what your opponent might be running. Anyway, okay, that's gonna do it for the Pikachu deck. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Like, subscribe, do those things, and I think you're freaking awesome. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Ronin out.